Hello, Christian friends, and thank you for joining us today for this ministry moment. The Christian Church of Connellsville puts these out once a week. We record it on Thursday, stream it out, and you can watch it from now until it finally gets taken down. We hope that these will be a blessing and also an aid to personal devotion. And we believe very strongly that we need to, as believers, continuously feed our discipleship. But I wanted to talk a little bit today about seeing and believing. And I want to illustrate this with an incident that occurred years and years ago. This was before we had weather satellites orbiting Earth, and that takes it back quite a number of decades. And before there were scientific forecasts, at least not really great ones. And there was a man it's a story about a man, I should say, who bought a barometer for his house. Now, you've probably seen those. We had one of those when I was a kid. It's usually set in some beautiful wood. And it consists of a barometer that tells the air pressure. And the air pressure, if you've got a high over wherever you live, air pressure is going to go up a little bit. And if a storm comes, which is always a low, the pressure will go down. And so instead of putting numbers on it, which most people wouldn't understand, it put the label of what might be happening. So if the pressure is high, you might call it sunny or pleasant. And as the pressure goes down, this particular model ended with hurricane. The one I had in my house when I was a kid just ended in rain. But I guess there's rain in a big hurricane too. And the house on the inside, the pressure on the inside of the house is the same, unless you have a very unusual situation, and that can be devastating, like a tornado. But anyway, this barometer was bought in New York City or close to it, and it was taken out to the man's home on the coast in Long Island. And it was a beautiful home and a very beautiful view. Well, when he got the barometer home, it went down to hurricane. And it was a pleasant day, so the guy couldn't figure this out. Maybe it was broken. He shook it, and it didn't move. So he decided to box it back up and take it back to the store where he bought it. The entire time it was at the house, it kept indicating hurricane. So the guy took the long drive back to the store to get his money back, which he did. And he got back, and there was no pleasant weather. Neither was there a house. The hurricane had come and gone with the kind of winds that knocked the house to the ground. So it turns out that the barometer's needle had been right all along. It had a pressure, it measured a pressure that was low enough to indicate a storm. Now, this struck me as a really interesting way of doing things. In today's culture, we very often believe science before anything else. And actually, if you are a believer, as I am, science and religion can coexist. The Bible is not a physics textbook. Neither is a physics textbook a workbook on theology and ethics, as the Bible is. They describe two different things. But all the time we can find things in which two different models fit reality itself. So very often people forget that in this culture and just believe what science says. Now, I'm not putting it down. I was a physics major, astrophysics, before I went into ministry. So I understand, and I do the math for a lot of physics, chemistry. I understand science. But I also know that science can't tell everything. There's an awful lot that scientists do that they don't understand. We've just had our Easter in the Protestant church. And we see that Jesus' resurrection proved that he has overcome death and overcome anything life can throw at us. The resurrection illustrates that God is intimately engaged with us in life. And in being that way, he loves us more than we can possibly understand. As the book of Revelation says, Jesus stands at the door of our hearts and knocks and wants to come in and dwell in the center of our lives. He calls us to die to our old life and live again with life in him. So I guess what I'm saying is that I don't have a barometer like that anymore. I just look at the Weather Channel or something like that. But science and Christianity can coexist. But the eternal, ultimate things of life are only revealed to us by God. And so I would invite you to think about your own life. Think about how, if the Lord is not in your heart, how you can invite him in, confess your sins, invite the Lord to come in, and start living life with Jesus being the primary factor, person, you name it. I hope that you have a blessed week and today, weekend. And I look forward to seeing you next week. We will upstream this on Thursday again. And of course, our worship service is live streamed at 10:45 a.m. every Sunday morning. And we look forward to having you join us there as well. Blessings to you.